Hello and welcome to the Conversation Cafe. My name is Beth Turner. I'm a communication coach for young people, and this is where I come to share top tips and techniques with young people just like you, so that you can start to feel really confident in a whole host of everyday situations. Now, when it comes to communicating well, being able to identify and talk about your feelings is a powerful skill to have. And as human beings, we experience a whole range of emotions. And when we experience an emotion and feel an emotion strongly enough, we tend to react to it. And the way we react is to behave in a certain way. And sometimes we can't always explain the link between our behavior and the emotion we felt that caused the behavior. But if you want to get good at communicating in social situations and also get good at reading people so you can understand how they might be feeling in a social situation, then understanding feelings and being able to talk about them is something that is a valuable superpower for you to have. Now, one of the things that you can do is to print off a list of emotions, just like this one. I printed this off the internet. And what it does is it gives you an opportunity to say to yourself, how many of these emotions do you already know? How many of these emotions do you regularly feel? And what sort of behavior do you give when you feel one of these emotions? And you'll see there are lots and lots of emotions on here. You might not recognize all of them. You might only recognize a handful of them. But what I'm going to encourage you to do is to become what I call an emotion detective. Because for you to be able to understand and read the emotions of others, the best place for you to start is with you. So what I'd encourage you to do is to print off a list like this from the internet and then sit down with somebody that you trust. It may be a parent, it may be a member of your extended family, it may be an older cousin or a good friend, and talk about the emotions that you see here and think about how often you feel these things, and then think about the behavior that you show when you feel something. Because you might have heard people say that knowledge is power. The more knowledge that you have about the feelings that you experience on a regular basis, the more power you can choose to step into in all sorts of situations. If you just think about it for a moment, one of the feelings on here is, let's have a look, embarrassed. Now, if you were to be an emotion detective and think to yourself, do you know what? Embarrassed. I feel embarrassed a lot of the time. There are lots of different situations I find myself in where I feel embarrassed. Then as part of your detective responsibilities, think about, well, when does that happen? And who is there when this happens? Because what you might find is that in your friendship group, there's one friend who regularly makes fun of you when a group of you are together. And that action on their part makes you feel embarrassed. And as a result of that, you react to feeling embarrassed, and actually you start to distance yourself from people, or maybe your behavior is aggressive. Maybe you confront people when they make you feel embarrassed. But either way, the more you understand about the feelings that you experience, and if you feel embarrassed a lot in this scenario, then maybe you can use that knowledge to then think, well, actually, I don't want to spend time with this friend anymore because they regularly behave in a way that makes me feel embarrassed. I don't like the way that feels, and I don't like the way I behave in response. And alternatively, if you look down a list of emotions that you print off the internet and you think, actually, confidence is on here, I feel confident a lot. Think about, when do you feel confident? Who makes you feel confident? And perhaps you've got a grandparent or an auntie or an uncle or a sports coach that really makes you feel confident about your ability. That's a powerful thing to know as well, because then when you are in scenarios and situations where you feel less confident, you can think to yourself, I know who I need to spend time with. I need to go and spend time with my nan or my granddad or my auntie, because actually they will help me move from feeling nervous to confident about a situation. And when you start to understand the feelings that you experience on a regular basis and why and how they come about, you will be able to choose your behavior. And sometimes it doesn't always feel like we've got choice in how we behave. A lot of the time, that's because we just don't understand why we feel the way we feel. The minute you can describe and share with others the emotions that you feel, you can then choose to react differently. And it's really helpful because if you can start to understand the emotions you feel and the behavior you show in yourself, you will also be able to do it to other people. You'll spot the signs that give you an indication of how others are feeling. You'll be able to help your friends out because you'll start to read the signs of the emotions that they might be feeling, and you can help them by talking that through with them. But also, you'll start to be able to prevent yourself from being in unsafe situations because you'll start to be able to really read the warning signs about how you feel emotionally when you're in a situation, and you'll be able to make sure that you don't put yourself in situations where you might feel at risk. So to just start to become an emotion detective is a really powerful thing to do. And I would encourage you to print off a list like this, chat these emotions through with somebody that you trust, and think about the frequency that you feel them and also the behavior that you show. How would I know that you're feeling frustrated? What would I see you do if you were feeling excited, frustrated, angry? How would I know if you were feeling lonely? Think about your behavior and how that indicates to others how you feel. And then you can choose what you do with that knowledge. There's more videos to come about your emotions and managing your feelings. But in this one, it's all I wanted to do to start to encourage you to find out and understand the emotions you feel and how they are linked to your behavior. I hope you found the content of this video useful. If you have, please tell somebody else it exists. And if not, tell me why not in the comments below, and I will help you in a different way. Thank you for joining me at the Conversation Cafe. I'll see you back here soon.